Hello and welcome to MGP274. I'm Kev, and with me this week there is Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
Hello.
And how are we both on this? How are my two flatmates off of the weekend on this fine Wednesday evening?
I'm not your flatmate.
You were my flatmate at the weekend. We basically, the three of us all slept in separate rooms for most of the weekend because I kept falling asleep on the sofa editing the vlog together.
Yeah,
Pab was
sandwiched in between both of you.
Pab was the meat in a glorious sandwich. And a splendid time was had by all. Have you recovered from living with us yet?
Yeah, it's been fine.
Yeah. No recovery period.
No, I had Monday off. I had Monday off work to sort of recharge the batteries.
To dry your tears after realising when you plodded into the kitchen that morning I wasn't going to be there. No trousers on, making myself a cup of coffee.
Either that or your YouTube videos are just on a playlist constantly throughout the night.
Don't tell everybody the secret to my success. That's supposed to be a secret. If
I wandered in. There's no one else around. Just your videos playing. I was like, what is going on?
It was a strange IP address.
It worked a charm.
Yeah, that nice man who owns that flat just decided he wanted to watch 14 hours of my videos, and who can blame him? They're excellent videos.
Yeah.
I did bottle out of leaving it on when we left, though, because there's always a chance that they didn't. Yeah. If they'd have not gone to the flat for like a week and I just left it on a playlist, then I'd get myself a new pair of gold shoes. It'd be magnificent.
Definitely.
So the reason we were all living together over the weekend is because the three of us toddled off to London Comic Con at the weekend. I'm starting to suspect that Sheepdog has died or something and no one's told me because they're not sure how I'm going to react to it, because although people kept telling me he went to Comic Con as well, we were there for the best part of 3 days and didn't run into him at any point. You claimed to have seen him, but me and Anna didn't see him at all. He didn't. By the time we got there on Friday, he'd gone. He was supposed to meet us for dinner on the Saturday, didn't turn up, and he didn't come at all on the Sunday. Now I arrived for the podcast, sat here going, right, where's Sheepdog? Let's get started. And you conveniently passed me the message that he's told us he's not going to be doing it. I know nothing about him saying he's not going to be on the show. It's all everything's pointing towards you killing him at some point in the last week, and you're just covering your tracks by well, I saw him. Yeah, you did see him. You checked the freezer. That's where you saw him, isn't it?
Oh God, you rumbled me.
Yeah. So I don't know where Sheepdog is. Presumably in pieces in Pab's freezer. That's why he had Monday off, because he had a lot of chopping up to do. But we possibly the finest gaming moment that any of the three of us will ever accomplish was achieved over this weekend, where we're down in London for Comic-Con. It's one of the things we look forward to most all year. It's a really exciting weekend. The amount of people who've contacted me to say, I wish I could have gone, it looked awesome. And Anna's suitcase was half full of a PS4 and she sat in the flat all weekend playing Assassin's Creed because she's a hero. You really dedicated yourself to video games this weekend, didn't you, Anna?
Yeah.
And how was Assassin's Creed? Was it worth it? Was it worth missing Comic-Con for?
Of course it was.
I see. Well, why don't you tell us all about it then? Assassin's Creed Origins on the PlayStation 4. Why is it so great?
I don't know, because I haven't played a lot of it. Because you...
Me?
Are mean.
What do you mean I'm mean?
On Monday.
Explain.
Because now, I'm now playing what I played in London.
But But I thought in London you were playing the bit you'd already played at home. Are you playing the same bit for the third time now?
Yeah, because you wouldn't give me a stick.
Pardon?
You wouldn't give me a USB stick.
What do you mean?
Because I was in London, I had a different PS4.
Right.
So I played that all day.
Yeah.
And then we brought that PS4 home.
Okay.
Now I can't afford PSN to get the plastic going. So I needed a USB stick, and I phoned you because I was literally covered in PlayStations. I could not move, and I needed you to bring me a USB stick. And you was like, "Oh yeah, I have one." I was like, "Well, can you bring it in?" And then you went, "No, I have to find it first." So you either did have one, or you didn't have
Can I
one.
clarify? And luckily, this all happened while I was streaming, which is why I couldn't come in. You didn't ask for a USB stick. You asked for a USB cable.
No, I didn't ask for a stick.
You have a stick. You have the Iron Man
No,
stick
I don't.
I gave you.
It doesn't work.
Ah. Well, I don't have a stick, so I couldn't have helped you with that at all.
Well, then you lied to me.
Because you asked for a cable.
Why would I ask for? Why would I say I need a USB cable?
I don't know.
I said to you, I've just tried my USB and it doesn't work.
Yeah. Now you see what you've done there is you've made the mistake that all my students used to make. You've said because you've just told me your cable didn't work again.
No, I didn't.
You said USB. The USB. You're asking for a USB drive, USB stick. I'm a computer scientist. When you say USB, I hear the connection, the cable. I don't hear hard drive.
Well, I meant that came out of my mouth.
Yeah. I see what's happened now. I heard you as a computer scientist, and I should have heard you as a normal. But
yes.
But then you do know that I'm fussy about that, and you should have said stick or pen drive or flash drive. But anyway, you've now played the first. I mean, you were playing it all day in London, so you must have done a good 4 or 5 hours, even if you're now playing it again.
From the start. Again.
It was weird because am I right in saying, or did I dream this? You were playing it all day on the Saturday, and then me and Pab came back in the evening, and you played it a bit more, and then you got to the title screen.
Yep.
And neither of us could work out what on earth you'd spent all day doing.
Playing the prologue.
So it takes 4 or 5 hours to get to the title screen of Assassin's Creed Origins. That is absolute madness. What on earth are you doing for that amount of time?
Exploring.
What, the whole of Egypt?
No. So basically, right, the game starts and you're in a tomb, I believe, and you need to find your way out. So, but as you're going around the tomb, there's treasure. I don't want to leave any treasure. Like, I like treasure. So I collected every piece of treasure in there, and then I came out and I was like, "Oh, it's so pretty." I had a fight with these people. Don't like the controls for fighting. I still get confused with it now because didn't it used to be like X and square?
Yeah, I had this exact problem when we played the demo at EGX. I don't understand when fight became the trigger, but it's moved to the trigger, and I just couldn't get my head around it. I've been playing Assassin's Creed games for so long, you can't fundamentally change the controls on me now. It just broke me completely. No.
So that's annoying me a little bit because there's a fight and I'm pressing the X button and I'm rolling about the place. And I'm like, no, I need to press this button. So that's still throwing me. Even though
I don't even understand why they would change that either when the series has been going so long.
To come to it, don't they? They're basically trying. I think who uses triggers?
Every shooting game, I guess, is the obvious starting point. But still,
there was a game recently that everything was on the triggers.
Mirror's Edge did that or does that, I think, doesn't it? But there's not much fighting in that. Dishonored, that's all on triggers, isn't it?
I don't know. I can't remember right now. It's been a long few days. But yeah, that throws me a little bit. But I'll remember. I'll get through it. But it's just because I've been staggered playing it. And then I had so much fun riding a camel.
In-game? Or is this what you were doing on the afternoon in London? You abandoned Assassin's Creed and were just riding a camel around London.
No, in-game, it's a camel, and he's quite nifty, bless him.
A nifty camel? What's his name?
Oh, I can't remember his name. Oh, what's his name? Hold on.
I love the idea of you just trotting around for 2 hours on the back of a camel, giggling. And that's how you actually spent the day. I'm on a camel. He's so nifty.
But yeah, he's quite cool. What's his name? No, he's just called Mount at the moment, but I think he has a name somewhere.
Mount the nifty camel.
Yeah, so you get a camel. You also get a bird, an eagle, I believe, or something. Okay. And so
the bird basically acts as a drone. It gives you your overhead surveillance, which is a skill the assassins lost as soon as they left Egypt, apparently. The ability to control and see through birds.
It's like It's Watch Dogs 2, basically. Yes. So you would throw your drone up in the air, aka your bird in the air, and then you would scan the area. That would tell you.
But why couldn't Altair or Ezio do this?
Because that was years ago, and now we've progressed.
But it's hundreds of years in the future from where you are now.
I don't know, but that's what you can do. Maybe it wasn't right for Italy or wherever they were going.
It just smacks of sloppiness from the developers and not thinking about continuity at all. Like you say, they're trying to bring in a whole new audience, and they don't care about those of us who put up with the dross that was Assassin's Creed 1, which was absolute trash, but we stuck around because of the potential that it had, and then had all the fun of Assassin's Creed 2, and then have stuck around for all the dross since then. And they don't care. I mean, we've had more bad games than good out of the Assassin's Creed series at this point, and they're just abandoning us for sticking with them and redoing everything.
But they have to move with the times, and we're the ones who played it now.
If they'd have continued to make games as good as the 3 Assassin's Creed 2 games they did, the Ezio trilogy, if they'd have maintained that standard, they wouldn't be needing to bring in new players now, because it would be the biggest game series in history. But it's frustrating. But I mean, have you got much further than that title screen yet, or are you now going back towards that again?
No, I got to the title screen. When did I play this? I don't even. Monday night, I played it for a few hours. Well, maybe an hour. I was so drained. Got to the title screen and I turned it off again. I was like, right, I just need to do one more mission and then I'll be further than I was when I left it in London, because I can't transfer data.
Wow.
So,
okay.
But it's pretty. Like, I played it at home, then I took it to London on a standard TV, and I felt a bit cringy inside. I was like, ugh.
You did make us lift the TV and move it closer to the sofa so you could see it better.
No, that is because I need new glasses. That's nothing to do with that. So I just need new glasses. We went for eye test the week and my eyes are worse.
That's a good point. We do need to get those glasses ordered. We should get on that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Write that down, Pab, and remind us.
Yeah, I'll make a note of it.
Good.
So there's a whole load of stuff to be going through on this. So you've got your inventory, obviously, because there is like loads of loot, like weapons. The amount of weapons you can have is mental. So you've got ranged, got melee, but then the melee is like regular swords, sickle swords, dual swords, heavy blunts, heavy blades, spears, unarmed. So that's just your melee, and then on your bows, on the bows, you've got hunter bows, light bows, warrior bows, predator bows. So there's a lot going on, and all
these are like color based as well, aren't they? To do with yeah.
So loads of color based.
Yeah, so they could all be. Yeah, go on.
Especially with the bows, some use single arrows, some use triple arrows, and they go quick. Now, you do have a quiver of sorts when you start, but you have to craft that to make that bigger. And like I said, I've been playing this for 5 hours, and I only have 3 of the 12 things I'm required to make a bigger quiver, because at the moment I have 4 arrows on the predator bow and 15 arrows on the warrior bow, but that takes 3 at a time, so that's 5 shots. So that gets annoying. You also have a shield if you're using swords and whatnot, and you do have tools, and mine at the moment is a sleep dot, but then again that's only 3. So not being able to make things as and when you need to, like as in Horizon Zero Dawn, you just make things on the fly. This one, I haven't found a way of doing that yet, and that's really, really annoying, because I like to be ranged. I don't like to get into close combat, but then when you've only got 9 shots, you need to be pretty on the mark to hit your target. And so some of the because the areas are level based, so I've left the first area, now in the second area, which at the moment is ranging from 7 to 17. And I'm level 8. So, I don't know. I'm just going for it, but at the moment, I've got to chase these people down, and they're on horseback, and I have one arrow. So, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Tell you what, the only way I'm going to be satisfied with this game and this series going forward is if this game ends with him getting a blow to the head and forgetting all these fancy skills that he's got, and that explains why they couldn't do them in the future. Because it's absolutely. I mean, bearing in mind, Altair couldn't even fire a bow and arrow, could he?
Hang on a minute. No, this is ancestral, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just a different ancestor. So that realistically, the technology might not have existed.
Yeah, because this has nothing to do with what's his name.
Yeah.
It was that other guy, Kevin.
Desmond.
Yeah, so we're not even.
So
Desmond's not around anymore.
So so realistically, it could just be that this guy has more knowledge.
Yeah, but the way the Desmond storyline ended is weird because I don't know. It's
the alien god people are supposed to have turned up and ended the world by now. That's where I jumped off when that didn't happen. So I don't know how many games ago that was. The world just ended.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, brilliant. The only thing that kept me interested, and they just threw it out the window. Great.
Okay, so let's go on. So we've got abilities, and your abilities is split into 3 different sections. You've got Hunter, Warrior, and I want to say Seer, Seer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that's doing. Why
like
that?
A lookout.
Firebomb, Core Mount. What's this? Sail. I don't know. They're all just them kind of things. And you've got your Warrior one, so that's your melee, and your Hunter is your bow. So every level you go up, you get an ability point, and I believe they're all 1. Oh no, so they start off at 1, and then the tier 2 is acquired 2 ability points, and then 3, and then your last one is 1. But obviously you have to go through them all to connect the lines, so they all are basically done. So at the moment, there's not, looking at it, you don't need to get that many ability points. Yes, there's a few that are 2, but I can't see that being a big level cap, because there is a level cap on it. I don't know how high that level cap is, but if you get the season pass, your level cap is increased. So I don't know how helpful that is in the game, because I don't have the season pass, because again, it's like another £30 to an already £40 game. So I'm not going to go down there. And then you've got your inventory, and we've talked about gear, and then you've got quests. So your quests are just a normal. You've got your main, your side, events, and then your completed stuff. You have a map, which is also good, and then you have targets, which I don't quite understand, because it's just a big screen with 5 things on it. I still don't understand what that is. So yeah, but like I said, I've not played that much. You play your first area, which is basically your tutorial area, and then you are sent on your merry way. The map is massive. Like, I don't mean like mass. It's just so big. Now I don't know how that relates in game when you playing it, how big this. But at the moment, like, I'm on my area, and it is pretty big. And that the only way they keep you in a certain area, you know, that weird, like, glitchy stuff they would put in certain areas of old games. So you go through it and go a bit white and weird. They have that kind of thing going on. It's a bit more grey, and if you go too far, it will put you I think it's back to the nearest synchronized point that you do. I do like them. I like them through every game. But every time you get one of the synchronized points, your bird, aka your drone, also her perception or his perception, Suna, I think his name is, their perception of areas when you scanning with them goes up. So I think looking at it, this like I've got 5 at the moment. So I've got 5 perception on that. But I'll keep playing it and enjoying it. I don't think I'll get through this of Wolfenstein, but I still haven't finished that. But that game is also mental.
Because that's the other one that came out on the same day, wasn't it? So you got 2 big games on the same day.
It was supposed to come out on Friday, a day early, and I put it on, and I didn't really turn it off till dinner time.
Tell us all about that then.
Oh, this game's mental. So, if you have spoilers, if you haven't played is it the Old Blood or the last game that came out? You're not gonna.
New Order.
New Order, maybe. Yeah, there was. Yeah, so you start this game, you're not gonna know what's going on.
That's surprising bearing in mind while we were down in London, we did an open top bus tour, and we saw an entire row of billboards in London that were just advertising for this game. They're giving it a huge marketing push, adverts on YouTube, adverts on TV, but there's a barrier to entry because you need to play the previous game. That seems odd.
There is like a whole story, like they give, like on Lost, when like
previously on Wolfenstein.
Yeah, so they give you a whole what happened before.
Okay.
I skipped that because I know I only played it, so I know what was going on. So you can watch that.
Okay, that should be fine then.
Yeah, so it's not but when you start playing the game, you'll be like, oh no. As in when you played that other game, you were playing that in sections, you got to know the characters a bit more, and it had a whole narrative. This one, you can watch a thing and then play it. It's up to you, but it's the way it starts. And this game is mental. So, I'll give you spoilers for the first one. You wake, so in the last one, spoilers, giving plenty of warning, you die in the last game, apparently. Like, you see what you go down.
You think it leads you to think that you die, yeah.
Yeah, and that then this one you wait. You basically start from there, and it shows you what happened, and then you wake up. You go through a bunch of like flashes of what's going on, and then you wake up. You're being invaded because you've got a submarine. Which is just mental. And you have to fight your way through the submarine in a wheelchair.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
In a wheelchair. And the game only gets more mental as it progresses. Like, it literally is insane the way this game goes. Now, I don't know whether it's supposed to be jokey, but it is such a funny game.
Yeah, it is. There's a like slight tongue in cheek about
Yeah.
it. It's not slapstick. Like, it's not a comedy game, but there is a bit of humour in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this game goes from one extreme to the other. I was going through it. I was like, oh, okay, I've ended. No, I didn't. No, it didn't. Not even close. I was like, what? No. And I put a lot of hours into it that day. So this game is quite long. I will put that out there, which I don't mind because I love the old one. That was an amazing game. But yeah, so I was going through it and I was like, I'm not any of the robot dogs yet. It's like, this is weird. And then I saw one and I was like, oh, okay. And then it kept going on and then something happened and I was like, okay. And then it carried on. I was like, okay, I'm fine with this, but I can't really say any more because it would just it would just spoil it. But it is such a funny game, and it just throws so many different things. And I'm not mad at it for it. It's just like, yes, it is a Bethesda game, but to me, it seems very polished. I've not had any bugs whatsoever. I don't think. And this was like
Bethesda must surely just publish it then. They're obviously not developing this.
It's Machine Games make it.
Ah, there we go then.
Ah, there we go. That's why then. So they must I don't know. It just says Bethesda. I'm like, because I love Bethesda as well as Gearbox when they bring out my games that I like. But yeah, I would buy Wolfenstein over Assassin's Creed, but I have them both.
Really?
But yeah, I couldn't sit there knowing Assassin's Creed was out and I weren't playing it.
Right.
Because I missed it last year. I genuinely looked over and thought, I don't have an Assassin's Creed game. This doesn't feel right. So, but then again, I haven't put as many hours in Creed that I have Wolfenstein. So maybe it'll get better. Maybe I'll go into the options and change around the fighting. Oh, also there is a whole Helix store on this, which is just upgrade your mount, get more.
Which one are you talking about?
What's this now?
So Assassin's Creed.
Oh right, okay.
So there is so you go. There's a completely different menu. You go on, got featured. So that's got your season pass on, and then you've got another one, add-ons, and then you've got packs, you've got gear, you've got time savers, you've got Helix credits, and then you've got owned. So they are trying to make you buy stuff. It's not shoved in your face at all. I didn't know this was a thing until I accidentally stumbled upon it. But that is there if you wish. I believe this was in Black Flag as well. Yeah, it was. These Helix things have been there for a while, but it is real money for Helix credits to buy upgrades. So at the moment, you can upgrade your mount to a unicorn, or you can customize your character. But yeah, it's for weird stuff like that. So
splendid. Pab, have you played either of these? Have you got anything to add?
No. I mean, I definitely want Wolfenstein. I might get it probably closer to Christmas, maybe, because I can foresee that going down in price pretty quickly. I don't know why, but I can imagine it might drop towards
single player silly season games. They always do, don't they?
Black Friday, I might be able to pick up a good deal on that. Assassin's Creed, I like the look of it, but it's an Assassin's Creed game. I generally don't get on with them. But I like the fact that they said they took inspiration from Witcher to make this game. So I'm suddenly that's in the back of my head thinking that it might be good. But I don't know. It's still got the Assassin's Creed stuff in it. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we might get it in the future.
Splendid. Also on this day of crazy releases, you got yourself a new game, didn't you?
Oh yes.
Which you kept trying to play over the weekend.
Yeah.
But you didn't get much of a go on it while we were with you.
No, not Assassin's Creed. Super Mario Odyssey for the Switch. I've not had much time to play it, to be fair. I wished it's a game that I want to be playing all the time. It's when I did get to play it on, what was it, Saturday night, maybe Friday night, maybe. And I sat there and I had a smirk on my face the entire time I was playing it, going, I cannot believe I'm playing this. I cannot believe this is happening. What is happening on the screen? It is just bonkers the amount of stuff you can do in it. It's such a cool concept. So the gameplay is you're Mario. Peach has been kidnapped by Bowser again, and he's trying to marry her. And you have to go and get him, basically, with the help of Cappy, your ghost hat friend.
Of course.
Yes. And he has the ability to transform you into anything that you throw the hat onto. And yeah, there's just like endless possibilities and puzzles based on being certain things, and Oh, it's just such a polished, perfect game. It's unbelievable. I've probably done maybe 1 or 2 worlds. Basically, there's so many. Like you collect, your objectives are to collect moons to then power your ship enough to get to the next world. But there are so many collectibles and so many different items in each one. It points you in the top corner like how many moons are in this world. There's like 20 in the first world. And you're like, that is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers, and you can get them from doing like beat the boss of the level, and then it goes from simple as there's just one over there. Just go and stomp on the ground, and it'll just pop up. You don't notice it. It's just there's some sparkly things popping out the ground. You just stomp on it, and it just jumps out, and it's that simple as that. And then there's other ones. There's so much stuff in it. I can't even get it all out. There's like there's 2D elements to it. There are sections of the world where you go through a pipe, and then you are like 2D on the wall, similar to Link. Is it Link Between Worlds, the Zelda game that was on 3DS?
Yeah.
You would go onto the wall, so you would play 2D Mario on this wall. That's basically, awesome. And then you would have to at certain points you'd have to jump out the top of it, and you would just come out 3D. And there's like, it's not really much of a spoiler this, but at certain points there is like bullet bills that are traveling along in 2D, and they come out the wall and they pop out in 3D and start chasing you. And it's just amazing. It is just absolutely amazing. Like I say, every single time there's just a smirk on my face, because it's just, you cannot believe they're doing what they're doing at times.
Now, you know how close we were to buying a Switch at the weekend.
Yes.
Presumably, that's still the correct course of action for us to take. Is it worth buying the console just for this game? Because it's still all we want on the Switch. I can't think of another Switch game I'm interested in.
No.
I think you will get... I don't know. I personally would, and I know someone who has got it simply playing it on Monday. It came around on Monday, and I played it, and then Tuesday he sent me a message saying I've got one of these. So I can see why people would want it. If you were only ever going to play it on that, I wouldn't necessarily say do it. But
it's not necessarily that we'd only ever play this, but right now, I don't think there's another Switch game that I'm interested in. Because I wouldn't ever choose to play something on the Switch rather than playing it on a proper console or a PC.
See, would you just, on a whim, just go onto the Nintendo eShop and just go, oh, that looks good, I'm going to play it?
No, I don't do that on anything.
That's the thing. There is a lot of gold in there on that eShop, but you have to look for it.
I would wait for someone to tell me to go and pick a game.
Well, like I said, there are lots of gems on there, and there are lots of good games on there. Mario is probably the stellar game on there. That and Zelda are the best games, possibly this year.
Okay,
it is that good. And I've only played like I say 2, maybe 3 hours at the most. And I'd kind of want to be playing it all the time if it wasn't for other things getting in my way. I'd like to say, I don't.
Sorry for going to London with you and having a fun weekend.
Trust me, it wasn't London that's getting in the way. It's my next game that's getting in the way.
What on earth could your next game be then, little fella?
It's Destiny 2.
See, I've heard of this. I vaguely remember having a go on it, and it wasn't that great.
It came out on PC last week.
But of course, because you already had it on PS4, you didn't take the plunge again, because that would be mental.
No, I'd already pre-ordered the PC version.
What are you?
Yeah.
So finishing it on PS4 was just a warm-up, was it?
Basically, yeah. I would not have bought it on PS4. Sheepdog had got us a review copy, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
So I was like, yes, I didn't pay for it. Sheepdog got the review copy and sent me it. So I was like, fine, I'll play through it, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. But PC version is where all my friends are at. Currently now, there are probably about 4 people playing it right now. There was as many as 8 playing it over the launch of last week. It is.
And were they all new to the game? Were you the king of Destiny?
Basically, well, I also, you like this as well. The MGP clan now has 17 people in it.
Woo!
Yep, because everyone's going, oh, we need to get in a clan. I was like, I have one. There you go, everybody in here. So they have a new clan, and we are gaining loot every single day.
Is that cross-platform then, the clan?
Yeah, the clan is cross-platform.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, the clan is good. So every time you do things such as finish story missions, finish public events, do strikes, raids, or whatever, you'll put XP into the pot, in the clan pot, so to speak, and then it gets to a certain point, and everyone else gets an engram in the group.
I mean, I only know 2 of those words you've just used, maybe, but that all sounds swell.
Engram's loot, basically.
Getcha. Okay.
Yeah. And it's just the progression to get to enough light level to be able to do the raid, which came out yesterday. The raid is now available to play, so everyone's on a crush now, trying to get to the light level of 260 minimum to be able to get to go and do the raid, which is the pinnacle of that game. It is what everybody's clambering to get to. So I've just been absolutely hammering it since I got back, and just trying to get there. I'm 240 now, light level, so I'm nearly there. But I've got to do some grinding. I've got to grind up the loot and get cracking on it, because, like I say, I imagine I'm not. Like I say, I think there's only one person who's got there at the minute. From my group
I
of
did.
Friends, so
I'm pretty good.
You didn't.
Yeah.
You did.
You're welcome.
You didn't. You couldn't. No. You're not in my group of friends. I'm playing on PC, ready to go and do the raid.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
I created the raid. I'm the dungeon master of that raid.
You're the dungeon master now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, that's really tips.
You'll find it when you get to the point where you can do the raid, Pab. You'll see that I'm the dungeon master of it.
You don't know. All right. I'll send you a picture of the dungeon master and I'll say, is that you?
And I'll say, yes, that is me.
All right. Okay. I'll send it to you when it happens. So yeah, that is basically the entire thing that's taken up most of last week and most of this week, apart from, like I say, being in London. I've just been hammering Destiny, trying to get through. I finished the story again. I'm just hammering through, trying to grind up loot and get through as many like mobs and missions as I can. And then we'll do the raid at some point. I reckon maybe weekend, maybe next week. I'll at least attempt the raid, so I'll come back with some news next week.
I'll let you know when I'm available for it.
Yeah, do that.
Right, are we done talking about inferior games now? Because there was an actual proper gaming event that happened last Friday. With all this nonsense you lot are talking about, you're forgetting that the Football Manager 2018 beta started last week, and that's all anyone really cares about. And goodness me, is it awesome. For the first time in probably, it's been the most significant leap forward since the 3D match engine, whenever that happened. It's revolutionised the game. It's awesome. I couldn't possibly summarise all the exciting new stuff in a 10-minute slot on this podcast. So I think I'll probably just have to make this an advert for my channel. Go and watch my 3-hour launch day stream on it, or some of the videos that I've done going through some of the new features, because it is very, very different this year, and I'm loving the changes. If you're one of those people who only gets Football Manager every 2 or 3 years, and if you're one of those people, little fella, this is the year. This is where all the changes have happened. Okay. Jump in this year, because it's so very different and so very cool. And they've even effectively killed off the 2D match engine that we all used to love so much. It's basically a bit rubbish now, and it's been replaced with a proper good-looking 3D one.
Hang on. The 2D engine that's like the non-highlights one.
No, the 2D one that was just the dots from above.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the one that just shows you, because the highlights shows you in a 3D engine, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah,
then it used to be. Then the regular stuff used to just go on and like a 2D, like Sabutio style thing.
Yeah,
didn't it?
But that's all we ever used to play it on as cool YouTube folk.
Oh right, I don't know.
Because the 3D was always rubbish.
Oh,
whereas
right, okay.
now the 3D is officially better than the 2D now.
Right,
and
okay.
It's like playing a different game, but it's just awesome. So go buy it, everybody. It's still in beta at the moment. It doesn't come out for full release until the 10th. But if you buy it on Steam now, you get straight into the beta. So you could be playing it right now. Do it now, everybody. Right now. It's good. You should do it.
I've done it.
Good.
Yep.
Well, let me know how you get on then, little fella. Because obviously you won't do as well as me because I'm a professional Football Manager player. But, you'll... You might get as good as me one day if you try hard. I doubt you might close the gap, so the gap is roughly equivalent to me and you on Destiny. So we're roughly similar on Destiny. We might end up roughly similar on Football Manager.
No, that sounds good enough to me.
Excellent. Right, that's all I've played gaming-wise this week because obviously it's kind of taken quite a lot of my time up playing Football Manager, especially because the beta came out at like 8 o'clock on Thursday night. I knew we were going to Comic-Con on Friday. I did a nearly 4-hour live stream as soon as the beta dropped, and then still recorded 6 videos to come out over the weekend before we got on the train to come down to London. So it was all a little bit of a blur, and there certainly hasn't been any time for playing any other games, because as soon as I got back, it was back on the Football Manager grind. And it's been great fun. Hold on, let's load Steam up on my PC now. Bearing in mind, it came out Thursday night. I was in London Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Wednesday as we record this. I've done 26 hours of Football Manager 2018 so far. So that's...
a bit excessive.
It's my job. I'm allowed to.
But Kevin...
I'm playing it right now.
Yeah, I can see it says on Discord.
Yeah,
it tells you.
Yeah, I'm having a whale of a time. But it's just the best game of all time, and it just got better. So go get Football Manager 2018, everybody. You won't regret it. And if you do, you don't understand things. Think again, and then you won't regret it. Right, how are we doing for time? We've got loads of time left. We can talk about movies and stuff this week.
Oh, good.
So let's start with movies and TV. I will put this out straight away. If you spoil The Walking Dead or The Bake Off for me, I'll hunt you down. So don't spoil either of those.
Can I add one?
Yeah.
Stranger Things. I haven't seen it yet.
I've not seen the first series.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
So we're right on the cut. Good job Sheepdog's not here. He'll have seen all of that by now.
Yeah,
but we're right on the cutting edge, and we've not seen anything.
Yeah, he's seen Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That's what he likes. He likes to watch TV.
He likes to sit down. Watching TV is just a byproduct of that.
Yes, he does. So,
we all watched half an episode of Sherlock together over the weekend, but I assume there's more stuff to discuss than that.
We did indeed.
Yes, I've watched Wonder Woman.
Had you not seen that already?
No, I'd not watched it at cinemas. I got it on Blu-ray.
Why did you not watch it at the cinema?
I don't know. It was just something that I missed the opportunity, and I was going to watch it, and I couldn't.
Is that why you had such a misguided opinion when I spoke to you about it at the weekend? Because it was fresh in your mind.
No. I had watched it. No, yeah. What?
Well, you said it wasn't very good, and I thumped you.
I
bloodied your nose.
It's not. It's probably one of the better DC films.
And as DC's superior to Marvel, therefore it's a good film.
But I don't know. I found it a bit boring. I got bored in the middle of the film and got my phone out and started reading Twitter.
You're an idiot.
And I shouldn't do that in a film. I shouldn't want to do that in a film. But I sat there. I contemplated turning it off. I was that bored. I'd never done that in a film ever. I don't know why. I didn't mind. It was all right. It was all right a film, but I just got a bit bored.
See, usually that's me with every other film, apart from superhero ones, and then I can watch them. But I'm like that in every film. Anna gets very frustrated with me because I'm tapping away during films. But films are boring by their very nature. I think Wonder Woman was excellent.
I think it was just the fact that it might have been overhyped for me because everyone was raving about it.
Because it was excellent. It was really good.
And to say that it's better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is bonkers.
Well, it was because it had Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was a perfectly good comedy film. It was a good comedy film, but it didn't really do anything to further any stories anywhere. Whereas the Wonder Woman movie was a fantastic origin story. It told a story that we've all read a gazillion times over and over in the comics, and it did it well.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I've read that story that many times that I've gone, it's not living up to this. Maybe that's what it is. Because I haven't read any other ones, ever. I've not read any other origin stories like that.
No, that could be
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that is what is putting me off, because I've read, I think, 2 or 3 origin stories for Wonder Woman now. And that could be the reason why it's not living up to my expectations. Maybe that is. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy the World War One stuff. Or was it 2? 1?
1, I think.
1, yeah. I just didn't particularly enjoy it that much. I didn't mind all the early stuff and her on the island and what have you. But I just didn't quite. And I don't know. I was really, really annoyed. I know they're saying it's not. They didn't put it in because it didn't match the taste of the time scale of the film. But there was no end credits teaser bit.
Well,
and I was really disappointed.
They're not Marvel.
They do it in every single film. And the reason they didn't do it in this one...
They didn't do it in the Batman films, did they?
Yes, they did. Did it in Suicide Squad. Did it in the...
I think they just did it in Suicide Squad.
No, they've done it. They've done it in the other one as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't do it in this one. I read it earlier on that they didn't do it because they said it wasn't the same. It didn't have the same sort of... To put like a teaser for the next film, it wasn't the same kind of film sort of thing. It was an origin story set in a World War One. It was a different time scale sort of thing, and they didn't want to put like now modern times in here and off you go sort of thing. And there was like a bit of modern stuff in it right at the beginning and at the end, wasn't there? But that was it. And they didn't want to. They didn't want to. It just didn't fit in. And I was like, I'm kind of gutted because I wanted to see a little sneak peek of Justice League or something.
Well, we've already been completely spoilt on Justice League by all the posters around Comic-Con, and the fact you can buy a Justice League Superman pop and he's on the poster that was at Comic-Con. I mean, we all knew he was coming back anyway, but I mean, let's not leave anything to the imagination. We can buy a Superman Justice League pop before the film is out. Why not have him in the trailers then? It just seems silly to have spoilt it to the degree that they have, but. I guess that happens fairly early on, and okay, it wasn't a spoiler.
I don't think it does. I really don't think it does.
Well, it's going to be a big surprise in the last 20 minutes. Oh, look, he's here!
Have you watched the trailers?
Yeah.
The actual trailers?
I just assumed they were deliberately keeping him out of the trailers.
What, and just cutting sections out without him in it?
Probably.
I mean, they could do that, but I think there's a large chunk of that film. All right, okay, so I think the plot of this is he groups them all together against his enemy. They get all together. They have a good fight. They can't beat him. So then Superman comes in and then just pushes them all over the line and beats the baddie. That's what it's going to be.
I mean, that's awful though, because we all know he's going to do it. Well, that can't be the big twist in it. Oh look, that guy who's on the poster has arrived.
I think it is. I think that's on the cards. And that tells you how bad these films really are.
Don't make me come up there and fight you.
They are not Marvel standards.
They're DC. They're DC standards, and DC's better than Marvel in every way.
DC doesn't expect much, clearly, then.
I'm going to strike you in a minute.
Yeah? Oh, come on, then.
So, Wonder Woman aside, because obviously you've lost all rights to an opinion on that movie. Mm-hmm. Have we seen any other films over the last few weeks? Anna, have you seen anything of note? No. Have you got any others, pork and veg? Or are we, jumping into telly?
I'm hoping to go and see Thor at weekend.
Oh, was that out this week?
It was out last week.
Was it?
Gone to the cinema at weekend.
Are you serious? We could have seen Thor already. Anna, do you want to go and see this film tomorrow?
No, we've got stuff to do.
Do you want to go and see it on Friday? Oh, I can't on Friday. I've got stuff to do. What stuff have we got to do tomorrow? If you say buying light bulbs...
Yes, it is. I gave you that.
We can buy light bulbs on the way home from the cinema.
No, we can't. We have to go and find because we've got so many different light fittings. We need to go and find the light bulbs. I'm not leaving it any longer. It's dark and it's dangerous. Right,
do you want to see Thor?
No.
So I can go on Monday when you're at uni?
Nah.
What do you mean no? Do you want to see it or not?
No, you said you're working, so you can't.
That is work. It's for the podcast.
Work.
And then we've got Justice League out in a couple of weeks. You're going to come to that with me, aren't you?
No.
I need to start a movie channel.
Mm-hmm.
So that I might put my wrestling channel might become wrestling and comic book movies.
Yeah, just have two things. Yeah, that's all right.
Well, I can't believe that. I didn't realise that film was out. We could have gone to see that on Saturday afternoon. Then is what you're telling me.
We could have done
when we were pottering around together.
Yeah, we could have done. I didn't want to say that at the time. I didn't want to. Oh well. Yeah.
Pork and veg.
Yeah, stop saying that because people are going to start latching onto it.
Well, you're Pav, aren't you? If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a group of people who, whenever Pabs appears on the vlog, they refer to him as Pav because apparently I can't say Pab properly, or they think, well, Pab's not a real name; he must be Pav.
Short for Pavlov.
Yeah, or Pavel. Pavel Serlicek.
Yeah, Pavel.
They think you're.
Exactly.
They think you're him, former Newcastle goalkeeper.
Maybe.
But I want to go and see that film now. Have we got any other films or telly? Walking Dead's back, but we've only seen the first episode of it.
Yes.
Which was fine. It looks like there was. I don't know what happened this week, but they were starting to really race ahead in catching up with the comics in the first episode because they started to flash forward to what life might be like after All Out War, which is we've had kind of snippets of the world that us comic reading folk know is the world that they end up with after All Out War when they defeat Negan. Now, I don't know if they're putting that in as a deliberate red herring and they're going to veer off away from it, and that won't be how it turns out, because otherwise it would be really weird to signpost right now. Yeah, it's all going to happen the same way as in the comics. He's beating Negan. Huzzah, huzzah, whoop-de-doo. I wonder if they're showing us that now because it will never actually happen in the TV show, and they just want to say, well, look, here's how it would have been if we'd have followed the comics, but we're actually going to go this way and do something very different. Just as a little nod to the comic readers and say, hey, we did it. There you go. If you wanted to see Rick 5 years in the future with his big beard and his walking stick, here you go. But also, it might be to get nerds like me going, so they're going to do exactly as they are in the comic, and then they won't.
Surely people that haven't read the comics, and I imagine there's a good chunk of people who watch that haven't read the comics, are going to be confused when they think that flash forward is what's coming up, and then it suddenly changes. And go, hang on a minute, what was that all about at the start?
Well, they positioned it to make it look like a dream, so it was like dream sequence stuff. So it was Rick kept having the little harp music dream sequence things where it would focus in on his eyes, and then it would drift forward into this, made it look like a dream sequence of what he wanted to happen, maybe. But
that seems more realistic that it will change then.
Yeah, his dream sequence was what we've already seen in the comics.
In the comic books, right. Okay, that's all right.
I'm now starting to think this is where they separate off completely and they're going to go in an absolutely different direction. Probably, maybe, with a different outcome to All Out War, which would be very interesting. But we'll see. Because the other thing is, after All Out War in the comics, they have a 2-year or 4-year time jump, which I don't see how you do that on TV. Because especially the younger characters, if you do a time jump with them, their ages are going to be wrong. So, like Carl's an adult when they come back after the time jump. And how do you do that when you've had this actor who's been playing him for 7 or 8 years? He's not going to be an adult when they do it. So it gets a little bit messy. So I guess they're kind of being forced into not doing the time jump, in which case do they need a different outcome? So it'll be interesting to see where they end up.
Making the time jump smaller.
Yeah.
So they're just filling a gap slightly so they can probably say, 2-year time jump, he doesn't look that different realistically. Whereas 5 years or 4 or 5 years might be a big change.
Yeah.
So they might fill it in with a bit of so next season could be a filler season.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is there anything else major on TV? So we've not seen the big stuff that's all come out.
No.
No. Anna, have you watched anything significant on telly, or do we get to talk about our comic books for 5 minutes? I bought you a comic at the weekend. Have you read it yet?
Kevin, we came home. I went to bed. I've been at uni since.
Is that a no?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I got you the Little Nightmares. Is that what it is? Got you the trade paperback of that because I'm a nice man. So Anna will have a full comic review for you next week. Are you sticking around for us doing some comic bits? I don't think we'll be very long. We've only got one or two each.
Carry on.
Yes.
Okay, so while we're talking about The Walking Dead then,
Yes.
I read Here's Negan, which is
Did you read it?
I read it. And
Okay.
I tell you what, oh, it's good. It's basically a standalone graphic novel giving you the backstory of Negan. And
Right.
oh my goodness, does it explain some stuff about that man. It really fleshes out his character. I mean, he was already the best character in the whole franchise, but he's gone up another level having read that. They need to do this as a spin-off TV movie or something, or do it as flashbacks in the TV show. I mean, it's just so very good. It starts off, and I don't want to spoil any of it, so I'm going to be very, very vague deliberately. But it starts off before the outbreak happened, so there are no zombies in our world, and we get to see what he did as a job before the zombies came. We get to see what his family and personal situation was before the zombies came, and then we get through. I mean, it's probably only about an 80-page comic. I think it was originally serialized in the Image Previews book. They would do a little bit every time one of them came out, and now they've put it all together as a collection. And it is, each section of it is relatively short. It's not full comic issue in length, but it takes us from before the zombies came through what we see the outbreak happen from his perspective. So unlike with Rick, where we get the weeks pass and he goes from the no zombies to living in an Armageddon world, with Negan, and I think this is the first time we've seen this in the comics, we actually see the outbreak as it happens. So I know we've seen that in the video games before, but I don't think we've seen it on TV. I don't think we've seen it in the comics, but we actually see the outbreak as it's happening. They're talking about the news reports of it coming in, and we get to see a side of the zombies coming that we'd never seen before. And then we find out what he does as an immediate reaction, where he goes, who he meets up with. We start to see the saviors forming around him. We find out about the relationship between him and Dwight, who then becomes a major player in the Saviors, both in the comics and on the TV. So we meet Dwight before he had his face melted off, and while he's still got his wife with him. And so we find out a little bit more about Dwight as well. And it basically ends with the Negan we all know and love, leather jacket on, Lucille in hand, leader of this community that we've just watched him put together. And it basically gets us to, I would imagine, just before when he's introduced into the comics, smashing Glenn's brains in. And it was just so very well done. It's the full team from the comics, so Kirkman and the usual artists and letterers and everyone involved in the normal comics as part of this. And it is a masterpiece. It's so very good. I very much enjoyed it. And if you've got any passing interest in The Walking Dead, even if you're not a comics person, purely because I don't expect it to make it into the TV, you owe it to yourself to go and spend the 12 quid or whatever it is to buy this comic and fill in Negan's backstory. Or if you can't even be bothered to do that, if you can't bear to read your little picture books, at least read about it on Wikipedia, because you got to know the stuff that we find out as part of this. I'm gushing about it. It was so very good. It's got me back involved. I'm glad I bought the last couple of Walking Dead trades while I was there as well, because I'm so back on board with The Walking Dead as a comic now, which I hadn't been for like a year. But this has hooked me straight back in. It's just top stuff. It was good. It's in summary. And then the other thing I read, which I don't think did we talk about The Button on the show before?
Yes, you did.
I did, but you've now read it as well.
I have read it last week, was it? Or the week before, maybe? Yeah, it's fairly good.
It is good, isn't it?
Little book. I don't know any of the stuff that's going on in it, because I didn't read any of the New 52 stuff. I get the gist of what's gone on. And it basically just closes that loop, doesn't it?
basically the New 52 started after Flashpoint. So Flashpoint is what ended the previous DC universe, when the Flash went back to stop his mum being killed, and it messed up the entire timeline. And what we ended up with as a result of all that was the New 52. But we've since learned with a parallel universe running alongside of it, where we have the original continuity that the Flash broke and our New 52 continuity. And what the button does is goes back and closes off Flashpoint and ends this story that's been like 6 years in the making at this point, whilst furthering the current story as well. It was really a lot of thought went into it, very cleverly done.
Yeah, and it tees it up nicely for whatever comes next. Because the only reason I got it is because I'm only interested in this Button and Watchmen sort of stuff, in this sort of stuff, this Rebirth stuff now. There's too much stuff going. I've gone too long now to be able to catch up on any of the Rebirth stuff or anything like that now. But it sort of tees it up nicely. It's same as it did with the original Rebirth comic.
Yeah,
teed it up perfectly, and you going, "Oh, I want more." This is the next thing, isn't it? Realistically, to what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I was left with the same sort of situations with The Walking Dead. I was being dragged back into Rebirth, and I thought, right, let's go and get caught up on the monthly releases. And goodness me, am I a long way behind? Taking Wonder Woman as an example, because I've read the first 3 trades of that now, which gets you as far as I think issue 18. The issue 34 of that came out this week. I'm so far behind, and that must be the Button when it came out in monthly issues. It must have been like a year ago,
but it wasn't that long ago. I don't think
it must have been, because it was like issue 12 of Batman or something, according to the back of the book.
It was issue. Was it?
Unless I've got
21 and 22.
Oh, okay, so it's like 3 or 4 months ago then, I guess.
Yeah. It's not that long ago, because I remember seeing them up for pre-order, and I was like, oh, I might get them, but
okay,
waiting for the trade. It's superb. Can't really. Tom King is, like you say, he's good, isn't he? He is good.
He's very good. He's bearing in mind he's relatively new to it all, and he's not done a lot. Everything he's touched has been great. So he's one to watch, everybody.
Yeah, and it like I said, this does tee it up for the next whatever it is. It's the next. They're coming up soon, aren't they? The new Watchmen comic book. What is it called? Something like, it's something like Batman and Justice League, maybe.
I don't know. I've not even looked, but
there is something
intrigued.
Very close. There is something very close coming up, which basically puts you into the Watchmen universe. So it's coming pretty quick now. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it is coming, and I cannot wait for it, because like I say, that is the only thing that is keeping me in this sort of thing now, because it's like there's not much else. I fell off Rebirth, and I pretty much fell off DC altogether, more or less. So I cannot wait for this one now. I'll end up waiting for a trade anyway, so it'll be next year anyway.
Well, I mean, it's the DC are frustrating with how long it takes them to get their trades out, because when I was mooching around in Forbidden Planet with you at the weekend, I was looking at the DC stuff, and the trades that are out, they're pretty much where I was when I was reading month to month a year ago. So the trades that are out now are a year old, and I'm not behind at all if we're in the world of trades. So part of me wants to get caught up and just get the single issues, but it will cost a fortune, so I can't do that.
Yes,
and then the other part of me is thinking, well, I guess I'm now at the right point to start getting the trades as they come out, because I'm roughly where I was at this point. But they need to get their act together. Marvel are really good at getting trades out quick. Image are fantastic at getting trades out quick. Like Paper Girls, the trade will come out when it's on hiatus, and by the time you come back, you'll have got the trade as well. So you're never that far behind. But DC, they need to join this century a little bit and start getting their trades out on time.
The thing, though. They're consistently pumping them out, though, aren't they? That's the big difference between Image. Because I like the fact that the trades are out pretty snappy, but then there's like a huge gap where they're not writing, where they're doing a different book, which is different to, like, say, DC, which is constantly churning over. So so I mean, I'd like to say get to Saga or something like that, for instance, and I go, okay, I've got this now, and I can't. The next book is too far away because they're still not finished writing the series of books, series of issues to go into that trade.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So I would end up like going, oh, what were they doing again? What's going on? And then that's how I'll end up losing half mid-trades and buying completely new series. What else have I read? The last thing I've read it over the last couple of days. I got it at Comic-Con over the weekend. The DC House of Horror, which is like the annual for Halloween. And this is dark. This is a dark book. Yeah. Let's give you the first one. The first book is it's called Bump in the Night, the first story, and it is a Superman origin sort of origin story of the ship landing at Smallville, and basically lands and crushes Jonathan Kent.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So he's gone almost immediately. And then the entire thing is played through Martha Kent. The entire story is through Martha Kent trying to get in touch with Jonathan. And then...
Who's dead?
He's dead, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. But it's sort of set in modern times as well, because they're all on like iPhones.
Okay.
Like, okay, that's fine.
Surely without Jonathan, Superman goes bad, doesn't he? That must be...
Well, this thing that lands is like a monster.
Right.
A monster with a red cape. And it basically terrorizes Martha, and she thinks she's dreaming all this. She thinks she's dreaming, and it basically kills her.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the first story.
Wow.
I was like, all right, this is how it's going. There is the next one's a Wonder Woman one, and it's basically these girls are. The Amazons are this like ancient extinct species that used to cannibalize men. Basically, they were just big, and these girls get a Ouija board, and one gets possessed by Wonder Woman, or one of these girls gets possessed by Wonder Woman and goes on a killing spree.
Wow!
It is dark as anything. It is so
I want
dark.
this now. I might have to pick it up on Comixology.
It is so dark. I mean, the Batman one is and there's one for Harley Quinn. There's one about there's suicide, and it is my word, it is some dark. To be fair, the Green Lantern one, this is the best thing about it. The Green Lantern one deals with zombies and what happens if superheroes get bitten by zombies.
Nice,
and it is really good. Okay. That is my favourite one in this. It is really, really good. And there is the Green Arrow one's good. There's also a Shazam one, which I'm not big on Shazam, but the Shazam ones, they're all amazingly good, but it's really dark, and I wasn't expecting it. I thought it'd be kind of like like they do with the Christmas annual.
Well, yeah, I assumed it would be like the Christmas one, so I didn't bother, because the Christmas ones, although they're a bit of fun and they're all right to read at Christmas, I didn't really feel the need to get involved in this. Yeah, but now I'm interested.
Like I say, it's really dark and really, like I say, it's not. Well, I think it cost me £7. Whatever it is, it's probably like 2 issues thick, maybe.
Awesome.
But it's seriously good. Seriously, I was really surprised by it. I was like, oh wow, this is. I hope kids didn't get into this. It's seriously dark. But cool, very, very, very good. That's your lot.
Splendid. Well, I think that can be a message we pass to the listeners then. That's your lot too, because I think we are done for this week. So we'll just round things off by reminding you all that by the way, we've got no events to pimp for ages now, so that's why we haven't done the usual come and see us here, unless you're in Birmingham Comic Con, because I'll be there with the kids. So be nice, because there's going to be children present.
In Manchester at the weekend, and you
only
see me.
Only 2 of the kids, though.
Yes, only 2 of them, because the other one wouldn't be interested.
Oh, he would. You just don't want to say.
Oh, you're a liar. He wouldn't be interested at all. He'd hate every minute of it. But if you do want to discover more about this wonderful podcasting experience, you can follow us on Twitter at MGUK Podcast for regular photographs of Pab every time we don't do a show, which is quite regular at the moment because, we're busy people. You can also follow me at Lelujo. One of you two.
Pardon?
One of you two. Tell us where your Twitter is.
Oh, I'm Miss Lelujo.
And I'm at Pab1986.
Also follow Anna on Instagram. What are you on Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
Because she likes Instagram.
No, I don't. That's where a lot of activity is happening at the moment.
She's always very busy on Instagram. What are you on Instagram?
What am I on Instagram? Yeah.
Doesn't even know her username.
It
was worth a try.
To be fair, Anna sends links through to Twitter anyway, so you can follow through
okay. There you go then.
Yeah,
and if your interest has been piqued by mention of YouTube, if you go to lelujo.fm, you'll find all of our channels linked through to there, and you can watch the Comic-Con stuff from the weekend, where it's the three of us mooching around Comic-Con, and that's all on Lelujo Vlogs, and it's worth watching because it's awesome. But I think we're going to leave it there. Sheepdog should be back next week, assuming Pab didn't actually kill him, but I haven't verified that yet.
He'll be back.
Back from the dead.
Working on a London Cockney accent.
Yeah, you'll never be able to get it quite as abrasive as his is.
I need to shave the moustache off and just a bit of hair off the top.
Bit of hair. He's like Hulk Hogan. Right. See you next week, boys and girls.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for listening.